Brian Howell. I'm the 4-H Youth Development Extension Educator with Purdue Extension in Tipton County. And today with our Food Fun and 4-H recipe, we are going to be making a tropical fruit dip. So as you can see, I have some of our ingredients out, plus a couple of things that we will be able to dip into our fruit mix. The very first thing that we're going to want to do before we ever prepare food for ourselves or for anybody else is to wash our hands. So that we need to make sure that we're using warm water, get our hands just a little bit wet, get some soap, put a generous amount on there, and make sure that we scrub our hands for at least 20 seconds. That means getting our palms of our hands, the backs of our hands, in between our fingers, and make sure that we are scrubbing really good for about 20 seconds. Okay? In addition to making sure that our hands are clean, we also want to make sure that all of the utensils that we'll be using today are clean. So I have them all over there on the countertop, but before I got started, I made sure that they were clean, that they were washed with warm water and soap and properly dried out, whether we dried them out with a towel or hung them or put them upside down here to air dry. So, but we want to make sure all of our utensils, our hands, and our surfaces are clean. I'm going to do a couple of steps here to begin with. First of all, our recipe calls for a can of crushed pineapple. Now, anytime before you open a can, you're going to want to rinse the outside of the can lid. Excuse me. You never know what kind of dirt or anything might be on top of that can lid. And so we're just going to run it under some warm water, just a little bit, and wipe it off with a clean paper towel. And we'll understand here in just a moment why that's so important as well, because the lid is going to come in contact with our food, and it often happens with other foods when we're opening cans. Also, we're not going to be using these yet, but we bought these apples in the grocery store. They were out loose, and so we're going to want to make sure that we clean these apples off as well. We don't know if anybody else has been handling them. We don't know if there have been other bugs or things. Sometimes, although I feel that they're safe, they might be some pesticide residue or a waxy coating that they put on the apples and fruit to keep them looking fresh in the grocery store and preserve them a little bit longer. We want to try to rinse that off. So what we did was I put it under warm water just a little bit, and then I'm using the same paper towel. I can get a clean paper towel out, and we want to dry those off very carefully, and we'll just set these aside as well. And I'll do the same with this apple right here. So as we said, we have an 8-ounce can of pineapple. The recipe calls for 1 cup of crushed pineapple, which happens to be 8 ounces. And it says the first step in the recipe is to drain it. So this particular can has a flip top. Sometimes you might have to use a can opener, but with this one, we just have to use a flip top. So I'm going to open that up and pull that off very carefully. Now we need to be careful because sometimes we can still cut our fingers on the edge of this lid, but as you can see, there's some juice in there. So I'm just going to push down and drain the liquid out. And so that's also why I said it's very important that we clean the top of that pineapple lid, that can lid off, because it will be coming kind of in contact with our food. We have our crushed pineapple, and now we're going to measure out some of our other ingredients. Now, most of these ingredients are liquid ingredients. So if you've ever tried dry ingredients, it's a little bit different using measuring liquid ingredients. So we have our liquid measuring cup right here. And usually these are clear for a reason, because what's going to happen is the very first thing that I need to measure out is 1 cup of skim milk. And so this bottle is 14 ounces, and so that's going to be more than 1 cup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the cup on a flat surface, and then I'm going to kind of get down on eye level, and I'm going to carefully pour this in and wait and see the line of the milk get up to 1 cup. So as you can see, the line on the milk is right there at 1 cup. And so I'm going to pour this in here. You'll probably understand why here in a minute, why we're doing the milk first. So we've realized that we need to get a bigger bowl because we still have about 2 cups of ingredients to put in here. So I'm going to just simply transfer these ingredients over here. So I'm going to use my scraper, my spatula here, to kind of make sure that I get everything in that bowl. So, all right. Next, we're going to also continue using our liquid measuring cup. Things like sour cream and yogurt are still considered liquids when we're measuring them, and so we need 1 cup of 1 cup of plain Greek yogurt. So I have we bought our little individual cups. Sometimes you can buy these in a bigger container, but this yogurt, each of these is only about 6 ounces, And so 1 cup is usually 8 ounces. And so I'm going to stir this up just a little bit using my spatula. I'm going to pour this in here. I know I'm going to need all of this one anyway, because it's not quite 1 cup. Put that in there, shake it down, get a little bit on my nose, who knows. And again, I'm going to stir this up some, because if you've ever seen yogurt fresh out of the container, sometimes there's kind of liquid on top and it needs mixed up a little bit. So there's no fruit in this. It doesn't taste very good. Plain yogurt is just, it's kind of like sour milk. So, but I'm going to do the same thing with this plain yogurt. I'm going to pour some in there until I think it seems like about right. And you might use your scraper or spatula a little bit to shake that down. These might end up using most of both of these cups. So pretty close here. I'm using this scraper because it's easier, it's flexible, and can get the ingredients out of some of the corners and things like that, and really scrape the edges of that cup. So I think we're pretty close here, and so I'm going to go ahead and pour that in here. I'll use my scraper again to do that. I'll try to get as much off of the sides as I can. And then our last thing right now, as far as liquid ingredients goes, is this sour cream. So I'm not going to measure this out. This says 8 ounces right here on the package, and so I know that this is 1 cup of sour cream. And so I will be just pouring this in here, again, using my scraper. Last ingredient that we need to add to this is, I'm going to put that in there, is a 3.4 ounce box of it says the recipe calls for coconut cream instant pudding. We couldn't find that at the grocery store, or what we found, we weren't sure if it was going to work because it required cooking. And Miranda and I, my partner in this project, decided we kind of thought the idea of banana cream tasted a little bit better. So I got some banana cream instant pudding, but as you can see right there, it also says 3.4 ounces. So sometimes when you're looking at recipes, it'll tell you the size of a package, and so that's where you might find that that size or that measurement on the package. So I'm just going to carefully pour this in here, and I can go ahead and start mixing that as I'm pouring that pudding mix into here. So I'm going to use my spatula. I can use my spatula. Perhaps I could also get out a wooden spoon or something. I'm just trying to use as few utensils as possible, but go ahead and use the spatula to mix up my tropical fruit dip. Okay, so we have our dip over here. It's setting for a moment. Sometimes when you put instant pudding in there, it might thicken up, and as you can see, it's already thickened up. We've just been paused for about a minute, and it's already thickened up some. So while that's thickening up, I'm going to talk about slicing these apples. So a couple ways that you can do this. Maybe some of you have seen one of these really cool tools. It's called an apple slicer. And so the way that you do that is, if you see this circle here in the middle, you're going to put that circle over that core of that apple. And so kind of measure that up or line that up, and then just simply push down on that. And so you have these great apple slices, consistent. It's taking the core out, so you don't have to worry about the seeds or things like that. Not everybody has one of these fancy things though. So this is when you might want to ask your parent or somebody older for help, but you can use something called a paring knife. Now paring knives are very, very sharp. So, but the way I would do this is I would just grab my apple on either side. And remember, I think I already mentioned that we've already rinsed these, so those are done. But I'm gonna grab my apple on either side, and I'm going to put my paring knife there in the middle. So see how it can't get my fingers at all? But I'm just going to hold my apple still and slice down with my knife. Okay, and then say I want to make this into quarters. I'm going to do the same thing again, putting my hands on one side of the apple and putting the knife through the middle. Now, one thing that you have with this is you're still going to get your seeds and maybe the bottom, that bit on the bottom. So you're just going to very carefully, you might put your opposite thumb on one end of the apple for stability, but carefully run that knife across and cut those seeds out. So, and again, you can cut it again one more time if you want to. So just some kitchen safety, especially when we're using these sharp instruments like knives. So We have just a few ideas of things that you might be able to put into this fruit dip. We've got graham crackers. We also have apple slices like we showed you, and then I also sliced up some bananas using much of the same technique when I was slicing up the apples, making sure that my fingers were out of the way when I was running that knife along. So we don't want to double dip, but we'll go ahead and we can try snacking on it. It's really good. Very cool and refreshing treat that you might enjoy, especially on a warm day. Hopefully you're able to go home and try this recipe and you enjoy it. If you have any more questions about any of the recipes that maybe you've seen on our YouTube channel or that you've heard about through Food Fun and 4-H, or just in general, questions about food safety or recipes, please feel free to give us a call at the Purdue Extension Tipton County office at our information at the bottom of the screen.